You guys are ready to go?
Yeah.
I would be. I'm not there. Just in case. I'll blame it on you. Yes.
Someone from the shop.
Wait for all. Yeah, don't forget,
They take.
if y'all come to, or come in at different times.
You want me to do roll call again, Jenna? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's on here, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Town Council and Planning Commission joint work session. The date is Monday, August 26th, 2024, and it's 11:12 a.m. Let's do a roll call around the table. Okay.
Anything up here?
Becky Wood.
Randy Fry here. Judy Braylage here. Richard Palmer here. Garth Hood here. Scott Taylor here.
Kevin is in the restroom, but he's here. Mike Farrar here. All right, let's do, any conflicts of interest?
Nope.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with some discussion because you guys are gonna have lots of questions about the town initiated zone change. And basically, we kind of went over it a little bit, but the town initiated zone change is, what is going on here for me, there's a few things, and we'll go into question, is we are changing all of the developers. None of the private people are getting rezoned, just the developers right now. We're changing them from half acre and 1 acre up to 5 acre to accommodate our I believe water supply. I know we don't have a great water study, but it's what we have until we get a new one. There's where water and there's just overall growth. Apple Valley is, I think, 35,000 acres. And if we put houses in there at a quarter and a half acre, we're gonna have over 70,000 homes. We're gonna be bigger than St. George. I mean, so we have to, Apple Valley needs to grow as Apple Valley should grow, not as St. George or Hurricane or somewhere else. And we have so much wide open space. We need to preserve that space and have larger lots so the area grows slow and responsibly. So that's where the town initiated zone change came in. It's not just done because, Mike, for our few people don't like growth. It's their slow and responsible thing to do. I'm gonna go over this tonight at the meeting with the public.
This was Ted Goodler's dream in 1984.
Yep.
When he started this town.
Yeah, there's some floating around.
Figure
Yeah, there's floating around about a 100-year plan for Apple Valley and nothing less than 1 acre. And I know we've located that and I know there's truth to that. So I know that was the vision for Apple Valley. What we are not doing to cushion stuff up, we are not eliminating 1 acre zones. We're just eliminating the developers 1 acre. We are eliminating the single family zone. What single family is, and I should back up. When I say we are eliminating, this is the proposal. I'm sorry. You may hear me say that a few times, guys. I'm sorry. I just get caught up in my speech. We are proposing, town council and planning commission, these changes. We want to get rid of the single family zone. That doesn't mean we're getting rid of the 1 acre parcels. We're still gonna have RE1, RE2.5, RE5. And the difference between single family and rural estate, the big difference is animals. A single family, you're not allowed to have horses and cows and chickens or anything like that. With the rural estate, you're allowed to have, it goes to the point system, you're allowed to have a horse, or maybe it might be 2, or a cow and a horse, a couple chickens, which is what Apple Valley is.
With an acre.
Yeah, with an acre, within RE, but you can in single family. Single family does not allow it. The only single family we have right now is in Cedar Point. And I plan on doing a separate meeting with Cedar Point residents. I've already done a vote on the Cedar Point page, and there was not one person that said they were opposed to either having a horse or allowing their neighbors to have a horse or a cow. Nobody. So a lot of people
Ones
kind of.
that have horses and cows right now, it's not supposed to be like that.
Oh, they were there before, well, there's those couple of bigger pieces that were there.
The one, yeah.
Part of, they're not Cedar Point. They're not.
The ones in the back are, Zion Estate. Yes, that's different. Those are RE1 and they're allowed to, but the people actually in Cedar Point with the half acre, they're not allowed to. But if there's no nuisance complaints, the town's turned a blind eye to it. And they should. This is a rural area. So we want to get rid of the other, that's the only current. There is a few proposed of single family, which would be Jefferson and Travis Homes, West Temple and Crimson Peak. So we just want to get rid of the single family zone. We want people to be able to have horses and cows and a couple and just have, it's just, we're a small town. And we started going through the zones and me and Bradley were like, oh my gosh, there's crazy zones all over here. We're like a town of 900 people. How do we have all these zones? Someone well thought it out and it was good for the future, but let's wait. We can put the cart before the horse. Let's wait until we have, 4,000 or 5,000 people, and then we'll start coming up with other zones if we need to. That's way in the future. Another one we want to get rid of, I think you put it on the agenda, is industrial. If you look at the town survey, nobody wants industrial here. It's just not commercial, industrial. Nobody wants factory stuff like that. So why do we even have a zone?
We have industrial already.
Commercial, but not industrial.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
No industrial. We have no industrial zoning right now, so we're gonna get rid of it. So nobody wants it here. It's within the survey. We don't want no factories and.
That's mainly what it's for.
Yeah, commercial guy that, I think, I know, Pat,
Southeast.
no, transmission guy.
Oh,
Matt Jessup.
Matt just said that, he has a transmission shop and all, that's commercial, that's different. Factory is industrial, people, making rubber, making aluminum, making raw materials.
Vitamins.
Dehydrated food.
I don't know, that's not industrial either, it's
Not
commercial,
industrial,
yeah,
it's
it's only commercial, so we don't have one parcel.
There's not really a lot allowed on the industrial, mainly it's, like recycle plants and.
Yeah, like factories, like big
Big factories.
pollutant factories, it was in our survey, so we want to propose to get rid of that too, so we're gonna get rid of single family.
There's some on the
industrial.
general plan already?
No, I don't even think it's in the general plan, is it?
Not that I thought,
There's a couple of specs.
Yeah, and we're gonna be doing, once all this is done, we will be redoing the general plan. We're not gonna do what was done last time with the survey, because that should be done every 5 years, 6 years, they say, and we're not there yet, and that's very expensive, but me and Brad are gonna work with the attorneys and get the general plan fixed, because we've had a lot of property change from from OST to Ag X, so that needs to be updated. Some of these developments are not even in line with the general plan. A lot of these developments that were changed into RA5 are zoned, Ag 1-7. So they're not even zoned in the general plan for this, so it should never have happened, so. We're gonna reel it in, we're gonna get the general plan fixed to where it's supposed to be and start complying with the general plan. That's what the general plan is there for. So let's make it real and so we can follow it and get it fixed. But we don't need to spend 60 grand like we've done last time. It's not gonna be like that. It's not gonna be a survey and all that, but it will be fixed and be fixed right. And we'll get rid of those zones. The Cedar Point thing, I don't wanna force it on anybody, so we'll do some meetings with them. I don't think it's gonna be a forced thing. I can't imagine anybody is going to care. It doesn't change anything else. There's no setback. They're all grandfathered in. There's nothing like that. Everything's the same. It's just the animals is the only thing that's really gonna change. So, we don't have to change it just because we got rid of it. We could still keep them there. It just kind of complicates things dealing with another zone from the past. But I'm very confident once I meet with them and explain everything, I think the majority is gonna go, yeah, let's switch to rural estates, residential, rural estates one, so, that'll be good, so that's what's going on with the town initiated zone changes, they are legal, contrary to threatening letters and the term of talk. It is 100% legal to do town initiated zone change, it's done in Utah, it's been done before. So that's where those came from. So do you guys have any questions just in general about town initiated zone change, the directions of the town? I know you have a lot of questions.
Yeah, on number 14, zone change for Gooseberry Preserve. They have a dog leg coming off their 69. Let's see, 69 acres, 9.85 acres. They first came to the planning commission in 2015. The developers agreement at the time was the construction of this project using the road that customers would have to use to access the property, not next to Del Betta's house. That dog leg down to Smithsonian Way was for electric and water only, not for construction. This is not fair to those that live out in Gooseberry. It's having all that garbage up there over their houses anyways. When people are gonna go up there and roll rocks down in their yard. I know that, they know that.
They changed that to be road access?
Del Betta gave them road access next to his house.
So all the construction work will go through Gooseberry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The way the
that's,
current PA is
that's
written,
not gonna happen.
Well,
we're
that's,
gonna fix that.
that's the developer's agreement that we came up with in 2015, that was only for electrical and water.
Yeah, that's all. it was
As it
And
should.
that's all it was for.
It should be.
And that they had to access their property, the way all their
Off of
customers
Main Street.
would have to access it off of Main Street. And just like Canaan, all these properties that Holmes wants to develop, he has got to maintain Main Street to be able to do that. Or else it's gonna be nothing but a dustbin
Right.
and this. So he's gonna have to make some commitments there when it comes to Canaan.
You need to do, and I've written the last two DAs and they're far better than past DAs, and I'm not faulting anybody. You know, I was gonna kind of base up on my speech tonight. You know, if you guys tell me to go butcher, a cow or a chicken, I guarantee you, Rich over here will do a far better job than I will. If you ask me to farm, and he's gonna farm far better than I am, you know. Dan here can do gardening better than me. Richard Fisher and a few of these guys can grade better than me, but this is the stuff I'm good at. So
Yeah.
I'm not faulting people that, anybody that wrote the DAs in the past, that's fine. Everybody does their best. This is what I'm good at. We're gonna be driving
When I
DAs.
was in Texas and I heard the lawyer talking about this,
Yeah.
I go, this is wrong.
Yeah.
This is so wrong.
Yeah.
And Del Valle made a lot of money.
It's just like road, the asphalt. We drove up there when it was pouring rain, went right past the drain and out into the street.
Yeah, we gotta do better, and that's what I wanna do. So here's the thing with the DAs that are written in the past is they have to be followed to the T. Or they have to come to town council and say, will you let us out of this? And we as town council can say, no, not unless you work with us and rewrite this into a way that we don't have construction going through Gooseberry. So as town council, as it comes up to town council, if we hold our ground and say, no, this isn't right, we might could give on this, but you're gonna fix these other things that weren't written good for the town. So it changes everything. So if not, they gotta follow those things to the T and,
I've got proof
yeah,
upstairs.
yeah, no, I know.
About 6 years ago,
I know.
I've got proof.
Fortunately, people did what they wanted to do with these DAs, but
Well, a lot of
We'll,
things changed with Marty
Yep.
and Dale.
so as someone had brought up in our closed meeting, Nicole Soroka, no, they're really good. We have their DA written. They are, and I get the developers, a couple of developers, why are you in with Nicole Soroka? Why are you in favor of them and not us in favor of them? Because they're willing to do whatever it takes. They're very cooperative. Their property out front that they're doing the properties, they're 5-acre parcels. Their phase 2 that they're looking at, it's not official, all 5-acre and above, 5, 10, and 20-acre parcels, which is what the vision is for Apple Valley. They're like, we'll pay for your pipeline. We're gonna roll into the pit in a little bit. There are different things that they're very cooperative. Trying to do, you can see they're genuinely trying to do what's best for the town. They'll say, hey, this isn't good for the town. Let's figure out what we can do for the town and make this, it's a joint thing. So, and some of these developers don't understand, and I know some of the residents, I have a few residents on Facebook, I'm gonna address this tonight, also complaining, you know, this is wrong. Listen, this isn't shoving something down people's throat. These developers have to understand, we can't do 3,300 homes. If they even attempt this, it's not gonna happen. I can lie to you all day long and say, yeah, let's just go for it and see what happens. Me,
No.
Jenna, and Michelle are not gonna possibly be able to approve drawings with our engineers and go through all this. I can't approve that many drawings. It's impossible. I can't do it. So it's gonna have to be put to a manageable number. But the thing is what I tell them, your project will really happen. Jefferson Canyon's been working for 13 years. You want the project to happen? You do? Then let's make it real. 3,300 homes is not real. You have to have a real and manageable number, so.
I think like the Canaan, Holmes Canaan, that,
Mouthpiece,
it's 1,320 acres. Then the max they can have is 175 homes, including parks and streets. So that's a much more manageable number than the, you know, what you have.
same as Ocoltoroca. What is Ocoltoroca? 98% open space?
Yeah.
That's what we need. I mean, he wants to keep all this space open for horseback riding and farm fresh and cattle and all that stuff, and that's what we need. We can't fill up these 35,000 acres with quarter-acre parcels, so.
No.
You just can't, sort of destroy the town.
And they presented so well, that presentation they gave, they've
Yeah.
always been willing to work with everything and
They really have been.
So I don't know, if you know, one of the younger guy, had a company in Salt Lake that built tiny homes.
Mhm.
All they did was tiny homes.
Yep.
Went out of business. I know this because I sold to them. And yeah, they went out, I'll leave it there. They went out of business.
It's not Dallin, it's the other one, right? I can't.
I think it is down.
Is it Dallin? Yeah,
The one, the mountain biker.
Mhm. Yeah, they're both very active guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did, one of them used to own some, did a factory that built tiny homes or something like that up in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, so I do know that everything they came in and said, they're not always what maybe it appears to be.
Yeah, and that's, you gotta stay sharp with all the investors, we definitely, developers, we definitely do. So that's what the DAs are for, and the DA is very thorough, I wrote it, the water agreement is very thorough, everything's very thorough, so, and I'll explain, we'll get into the bid. That'll be that's next on the subject with their requesting a bid, so I'll get into that with you guys, like bid. But do we have any more discussion or questions about the growth and the, town initiated zone changes and all
I have
that?
a couple.
Yeah, for sure, 'cause it's.
Way back, I think when we signed up with Alp Creek to do our sewer,
Mhm.
they were talking about 7-acre parcels
Mhm.
and not doing any more lot splits that were smaller than 7 acres, but if they had lot splits that already been approved, that they would approve them for septic. How's that gonna play into all these developments wanting to put in 1/2 acre, 1 acre? Are they gonna make them put in the treatment
Yes.
facilities
Yes.
that
Yes,
they
they are.
still don't have an approval plan for and have not been able to put in
No, they do have it.
in other?
They have an approval from Ash Creek, but yeah, it is a sewer, it's not septic because,
Made the treatment plant.
yeah, it's a treatment plant.
I know the development that my husband's working on over to Virgin, they, after putting pen to paper and going through the plan, sending them up to the state over and over again, they finally decided it would be more cost effective to bring sewer up from.
Yeah,
Lubbock
they
to
looked at
Virgin
that. Yeah.
Than it would be to put in one of those treatment plants.
Mhm. They looked at that. I know that was one of their things they looked at, but no, they worked with Ash Creek and they came up with a sewer processing plant, a wastewater processing plant for this is only for West Temple. And I'm sorry, West Temple and Crimson Peak. Jefferson hasn't done that yet. But for West Temple and Crimson Peak, yes, because anything less than 7 acres requires a type 3 septic system. And Ash Creek looked at this and our aquifers right here in our wells, and with that kind of growth, you definitely don't want the nitrates leaking down into your water system. So yes, they will have
They're
to
supposed
do.
to have their own, treatment.
Yeah,
plant
that's what I'm saying.
in-
Yep, they do. It's in their plans. It's their own treatment facility. Ash Creek wanted that. We kind of pushed it and, yeah, they definitely. will have their
Jessup
own.
Canyon, same thing.
Yeah, we haven't done that with Jessup yet. It hasn't got to that point yet, and I haven't read through the DA close enough to see if that was required, but Ash Creek can still require that.
Jessup
Part of-
Canyon was required, and they were gonna use the groundwater to,
Yeah, they're gonna use it for water.
Golf course.
Yep, but yes, Ash Creek, did demand that, and it's on, and it is even on the construction drawings that they finally gave to us, it is on there. And then what'll happen is West Temple and Crimson Peak has to build this facility as they do with water improvements and then donate that to Ash Creek. Ash Creek will own it, and then Ash Creek will charge other residents, developments to use that same treatment facility. So there's a chance that Ocotillo can use that facility and truck it up here. They'll have to look at it with Ash Creek and see if it's cheaper to build their own or what they'll do. But Ash Creek can Ash Creek can let Jefferson use it too. That's up to Ash Creek. Eventually the town, maybe we can use it. That's a long ways off. Haven't even given that any thought yet.
But you don't have to tie into that unless it comes within 300 feet of your own septic system, right?
Only if you're above 7 acres is that an option. If you're below 7 acres, you just put in a private septic system. So you don't have to do, even above 7, you can do it, but you have to have the type 3, which is,
I got that backwards.
I did it backwards.
Yeah, it's small.
Under 7 has to do the type 3 and process the water, so you don't have nitrates going down. Above 7, you don't have, you can just do a regular.
So, but ours is grandfathered in.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, if you're already here, yeah.
Yeah.
No, your grandfather did, yeah.
I'm gonna change
Yep,
it.
no, you're good.
So a while back, the county did some deal with Main Street. Like they took, or do they do the maintenance on that as well now
Yep.
for us?
Yep, they maintain Main Street.
They took it over so that they
Yeah.
could grade the road,
Yeah,
and then eventually it's supposed to come back to the town. But I don't think it's- I drove it when we got all that rain.
a lot better than it was.
It was a long time ago.
It's
Washed.
really washed.
So here's the story with the asphalt on that road, is that they were going to asphalt it.
They had the funding, they got the funding from the federal government, it was earmarked, they had all the money to pave the road. Well, they got to the portion where the washes are over by Rockville on that side, and they said, no, you can't just put a culvert in, we're not gonna let you do a wet crossing, you guys need to put bridges in. Well, the cost of bridges was more than the asphalt, and they said, this is crazy, so they said, we're not doing this right now. And so then they said, well, since we're not doing this, let's take this asphalt money we had earmarked and let's use it for other asphalt projects. So there is zero funding for that right now. I've been told 10 years, maybe 20 years, like it's just not even in the, I don't, that's what I've been told. You'll have some of these developers, oh no, I got the inside track. but- Yeah.
But
I
the
mean,
county,
it's pretty rough.
but the county does pay us to maintain the roads out there, so I'm not, maybe we should get clarification on that.
No, they maintain it, yeah, they just put a grader on it. In fact, we donated the water
Oh, okay.
with Richard Fisher. I donated the water to Richard Fisher, who was supplying the water, the roads down when they did it, so. Oh, it's been a while. It's been, I'm bad with time, 2 months, 3 months?
Probably a little.
Was it longer? Yeah, I don't know. It's all a blur to me. Ever since I became a mayor. The county graded it, but they contracted Richard to bring the water in or something like along.
They graded all through private.
Yeah, so we donated the water to the county for to do that we kind of like our portion, but no, the county maintains it all the way to, the asphalt, to the highway.
I know they put cinders all the way up to our city limits,
Yeah.
and then they didn't put cinders on the rest of.
Yeah, so if, like you guys said, if the developers come in someday, they will be responsible for asphalt and different things, but I think they're all kind of waiting for something to happen out there, and like I said, I've been told I would look at anything for
Yeah.
like 10 years, maybe 20. Yeah, they're kind of like, hey, that's.
Well, if Travis comes with his project out there, he is supposed to maintain.
Yeah,
it.
yep, it would have, before we would allow anything, any improvements out there, they would definitely have to asphalt Main Street, put some curb and gutters in, and that's part of the ordinances, so. Yep. Any more? No, anything else?
I just, I've talked to Bradley about this before, but Heber Midway, their residents valued the open space so much, that they went in and did some, conservation easements on some private land to keep that open.
That's what we tried to do out on the Mesa in front of us.
Mm-hmm,
We tried to conserve it, so
mm-hmm.
that nobody can build out there. They're not supposed to use one way as an entrance to the.
Yeah.
They're supposed to use Main Street, and you just, they all just.
Yeah. The conservation easement is actually a deed restriction,
Yeah.
and so it
Oh, yeah, they didn't even
prevents
own the
building.
They
Yeah.
didn't even, it was BLM, and they had to pay back taxes,
Oh,
5 years of back taxes.
yeah, BLM land is hard. They'll switch land for the fun of it.
Yeah.
If you have land to switch, they'll swap land for BLM. Those developers are sneaky that way.
Okay.
So we're gonna, table Jessup Canyon.
There's nothing to vote on or anything like that. Oh, yeah.
It looks like, Little Creek and Jessup Canyon have combined to complete the project.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Probably going to what's first out right now, but let's go into number 2, the public infrastructure district. So PID, you guys have heard of PID, Jefferson Canyon has a PID. So when I came here, I was told PIDs are bad, stay away from PIDs, PIDs are horrible, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, I just got into this, that's fine for now, but I like to do my own homework. So I did my homework, I talked to the town attorney, I talked to different attorneys, and I actually met with a gentleman named Matt Entz, who is, I would guess, that's all he does is PIDs, he's a PID attorney, very good at what he does. So what I learned was PIDs are bad. Here's how you can say, I think this is what started the rumor. PIDs are bad if you are trying to stop the development in your town because you have a developer come in and he wants to develop some land and he has no money. Well, the PID helps him develop. So that could be a potential, as a town not wanting growth could say, oh, PIDs are bad, they enable some guy that doesn't have no money. But if you're already into this and you're developing and you're going and you have investors, it's not stopping you at this point. That's kind of where Apolta Roca is at with it. They're asking possibly for a PID. All that I put in the DA was town council would agree to look at it. We hear them. That's it. There's no agreements of a PID. So what I learned is PID is not bad. It actually can be good. The town is never liable. We're not liable for any money spent on the PID at any point. If they go bankrupt, if they sell the property, if they put in $2 million worth of infrastructure and then just say, we can't do anything else about, the PID goes with the property. So when someone buys a property, the PID goes with it. If the property has to be sold for bankruptcy or something crazy, that goes to pay the PID. It always goes with the property. Town is never liable. So I did make sure of that. So we are never liable. So we have nothing to lose. Now, what's in it for the town? What would be good for the town? So now let's take Okoltoroka. They budgeted, now I'm just gonna give you numbers. Please don't quote me. Somebody's on video gonna quote me later, I'm sure. $12 million, I think, for infrastructure, and it's actually cost them like 16, 17, 18 million dollars for infrastructure. So they underbid it. So they said, would you look into a PID with us? So what the PID is basically for a developer, it basically comes into, it's a zero interest loan. So Okoltoroka has investors, but they're paying back investors and they have loans and they're paying these people back. With a PID, they can do it for zero interest. Now, okay, so that didn't help us, that helped them, but doesn't help the town. Well, when they're saving that much money in interest, they're going, hey, we have all this money we're saving on this PID. If you guys are gonna let us do the PID, then we can take that money and we can do stuff for the town. And that's where the whole scratch my back, scratch your back comes into play. So they are going to come in and present PID to the town council at some point, is my guess. I've done, like I said, we'll bring in Matt Yance, the attorney, we'll bring in our attorney, whatever you guys feel comfortable with, but I've done my homework and I'm like completely changed. When I came in here, I was told it was bad and I cannot find anything that's bad about the PID, nothing for a town that's bad, other than if someone, like I said, came in and didn't have no money to develop, they were no investors, it might enable them to develop, but we're past that point with Okoltoroka, we're past that point with Jepson. So Jepson has a PID. But there's a lot of rules. It's hard for the developer. He has rules to follow. There has to be a board. In fact, I told the Okoltoroka guys, if there's talk of a PID and goes to town council, we will definitely want someone from town council, a representation of someone from the town on the board. And they're like, no problem with that. It just basically tells you what you can spend money on, what you can't. So, but they had also said that if we will agree to a PID with all the money, they said, that's what they said, they'll put in a 1 million gallon tank for us. Fully funded, concrete 1 million gallon tank, no cost to us. So that's because they're gonna save so much money on interest. So, do you guys have any, the kids are very confusing, like I said, I don't know if I can answer every question, but I am certain that the town has zero liability from the PID attorney and from our town attorney, that you both confirm we have zero liability. So there's at no point in any situation where they can come back and say, you owe us 2 million for this PID, even though we have to sign off as a town to allow this, there's no point where we're liable. So, but
Are these the ones that are the special taxing districts within the new development?
I should have explained that portion.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's where they're.
Okay, so here's how the PID gets. I should specify that. So let's say we give Okoltoroka a PID. Okay, how does it get paid back? They have special taxes, the people in Okoltoroka. It does not affect Apple Valley. We don't pay extra taxes. It has nothing to do with us. The people that buy in Okoltoroka, they will have special extra, taxes will be extra high. So all those people that are buying those 5-acre parcels out front, they will have far higher taxes than we do because that will be going to pay the PID off. And that's how the PID, but it does not go to current Apple Valley residents. Does not. No maybes, no pennies, nothing. All for the people that take out the PID. So Jepson, for example, if I don't remember, somebody told me they spent $4 million on their PID. I have no idea if that's true. But whatever they spend, the people that buy in Jepson are the ones that are going to pay higher taxes and pay that back. We are not. As a town, we are not. Even if that money goes to a tank or street or buying a new town building, whatever it goes towards, we are not responsible for paying that back. Just the new residents are. And then you feel like, I know some of the old mayors I talked to said, well, that's not fair because these are going to be your residents someday. They know full well going into this that they have a special assessment of PID on there. And like these guys kind of brought up to Okoltoroka, they said, these are 5-acre parcels selling out in front of our resort. These are going to be $5 million homes and parcels when you're done. They don't care about a few bucks extra on some taxes. So I said, yeah, and in fact, they said they're going to be owning the resort and they'll have extra taxes and they realize that too. So yes, that is, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't catch on that. So no, we do not pay, Apple Valley current residents do not pay anything on a PID.
And then if they go out of business, it's in our favor.
It stays with the land. Yep. Whoever buys the land, whoever it goes to auction, it just stays with the land. So if you go to an auction and you're seeing this property go for dirt cheap and you're at this government auction or whatever kind of auction is, you better do your homework and your diligence. No, when you buy that property, you have this PID that comes with it that you're responsible for paying. It comes with the property, so. Any other questions about PID? Like I said, we're not looking to approve anything now. It will, I'm sure it's gonna come to town council eventually. But it'll be, we'll have the attorneys, our attorney, our town attorney will come speak to you guys, because it is a scary thing. And also we'll get mad at you, Matt's burying all people. Maybe we'll get them both in at the same time.
Where did they get financed for in the first place on bid?
Private investors. So it's an investment. So you're taking the risk when you're investing in this, you know, that there is a risk that this kid, but I mean, just long term, you're always gonna get your money because the PID goes with the property, but there is private investors. It's a little different. I know in California, we have what's called Mello-Roos, and that's the government gives you the money, and then you have a special assessment tax, which is called a Mello-Roos. So when you buy this new house, you have your regular property taxes, and then you have what they call Mello-Roos, which pays back that loan back. So a little different with the PID, so the private investors did fund that. Any other questions about PIDs? No? Okay, I don't have it on the agenda, but I'll give you guys a quick pipeline update, because that's always, it's gonna be brought up tonight. We are on our last approval. We have the archaeological study that's sitting with UDOT right now. We're expecting it back. In fact, I told our engineer if he doesn't have it back by tomorrow to let me know, because I'm gonna start getting on the phone and making some phone calls. Once UDOT gives it back to us, it says, okay, we're good with it, then it goes to Division of Drinking Water. And they have to give the final approval saying it's been signed off, you can break ground. Well, we're gonna tell the Division of Drinking Water, usually this takes 4 to 6 months, is what I'm being told. So the Division of Drinking Water will have two options. They will either say, go ahead and start your project and start building. We will take 4 to 6 months to approve this, but you guys, we see there's nothing in here that looks funky, go ahead. Or we're gonna tell them this is emergency, and if we have to get the governor's office involved, we need this back in days. So we're not gonna wait for 6 months, obviously. So once we have the approval on that, we should start seeing breaking ground phase one. Phase one is at Bubbling Wells, up there toward your place, halfway down that road. They'll be tagging in up there, so they're gonna dig that portion. And it comes down, and I don't know the name of it, over the little dirt road that connects Bubbling Wells over to where the mailbox is in Cedar Point. That is the name, yeah. Yeah, that's all phase one.
That's the no name street.
There's a no name street.
Oh, no name.
Eventually, I know I've talked to a few residents, once the pipeline's in, I would like to fix that up, maybe get some road base on it, because I know a lot of residents check their mail, and I'm good with that, so we have no problem, but I've been kind of dragging my feet, I didn't want to do anything to it when they're just gonna dig it up for a pipeline, so that'll be phase one. Phase two is everything else. The pipeline from here to there, and it also includes our pump station. We now have all the drawings of everything other than the pump station. That's the only thing missing. So I still need the pump station drawing to get a final price. Nobody seems to be, as time's going on, everybody seems to be, once we broke down pricing, everybody thinks we're gonna have it all covered with that extra money I got. So I think we're gonna even have money left over. So it doesn't look like an issue there, but our engineers, Nate and Sunrise, is working on the actual structure. It's all designed pretty much. They're just kind of doing like roof vents and the electrical panel. The electrical panel is a big job for all the pumps, but the money's been spent. We've got the pumps. Zach has approved to start spending money. Money is being spent, even though the Conservancy doesn't have the money from the grant until we do this archaeological study. The archaeological study is to release the money. So the money's in an escrow account, so to speak, and it's just sitting there. And it's our money. The Conservancy is obviously taking it for us, but it's not released until we do dot all these I's and cross all these T's. We're on our last hurdle of the checklist. There's actually one other thing on there, but they said we can do it without that because it's this big old property asset assessment thing that the town needs that we don't even have. So, and we're working on that. So
once phase one's completed, then we'll, South Line Estates and Cedar Point be hooked into that, or does it have to be
No.
completed?
the whole thing has to be completed before it hooks in, but they'll work on them simultaneously. They told me that the contractor, I meet with these guys every Thursday, the contractors there, they're just like, just approve, once you guys approve this, we'll be out there like within a day or two, and we'll have this done in less than 2 months. They said, this is the easy part. They're like, this is what we do all day, every day. This isn't an issue. So even with the building of the pump house, I mean, they're like, I'm like, you guys, that too? They're like, it's just brick. I mean, it's nothing, there's nothing fancy. We do this all day. We know the ground out there. It's not our first time digging out there. We know what to expect. We did have one issue with the pipeline going over the wash right here by the Chevron. We thought we were gonna go over the culverts. UDOT study came back and said, no, we won't let you go over the culvert that close to the highway. You have to bore under it. So obviously boring under was about $150,000 and I wasn't thrilled with that. So we worked with the engineering and we said, well, let's just go under the wash. Well, they wouldn't let us go that close to the culvert. So we had to come 100 feet this way, go under the wash, come out, come 100 feet back. But when we went that 100 feet, it ran into Stitla's easement, which is the guys with the wash and all that. So we said, okay, we need an easement. So there's a whole process. They gave us this whole list of junk and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's like, this is like, I'm not gonna do it list, you know, like it says months and I'm like, okay. Long story short, people know people, governor's involved. 3 days, we got our easement. So in fact, I think it's getting signed off today, Monday, today or tomorrow, we signed off, everything's done. We got through the whole checklist like that. So within about 3 days, we got the whole thing done. So that'll be approved. In fact, I just signed it. I signed it on Thursday when I was at the meeting. I signed all the paperwork. So it's done. It just has to be recorded or whatever. So that should happen today or tomorrow. So
How big is it, pump?
I can't remember. We have a half acre of land. It's pretty good size if I remember. I have the drawings in my office, the preliminary drawings. It's big enough to drive a forklift into. So it's not like little tiny, like it's not like these well houses.
Right.
Yeah, it has a big roll up door on it and you can drive a forklift in there and turn it to, in case, because the pumps, we need 3 pumps, but it's a pump station and it has 4 pumps on it in case you always have an extra pump. And it's one big piece that has to be lifted in and out. So we're worried about maintenance if something ever went down or something, we did have to lift it out of there. So we made it so the forklift could go in there. and pick it up.
Going by the pump out?
It's going right next to the,
Electrical
station. The electrical substation.
So the new one?
Yeah, it's going right next to that. We have a half acre we bought right there.
You have a small cord to plug it in.
Yeah. Plug it right in. We had to have a special transformer for it, which we were so worried we weren't gonna get, but not Rocky Mountain Power, but what's theirs in St. George?
JC.
I think it's JC, yeah. They had one that they sold to us, so we've already bought that. We've already got the pumps. We don't have the pumps in our possession. They're still there. They're paid for. They're sitting there ready for us to pick up. So we definitely have everything in motion. It's just getting these funds. And Zach is, with the Conservancy, has allowed all this stuff to be spent of his money, and he knows he's gonna get it, but there's a certain point where we say, okay, and we're not supposed to break ground until this final thing's done, but it's getting very close. So we're right there. So I told him I want to start breaking ground. I said, I want the residents to see us digging and I want people to see that. So I said, these are my 2 priorities. I got to get approval to start breaking ground so residents can see. And I got to get this pump house drawn so I can get a final price and say, okay, we're good. So that's what keeps me up at night, is making sure.
And buy a mini X.
Yeah, yeah, and then help up door for a minute. So that's the pipeline update. So if you guys have any questions about that, and we'll just move into a roundtable session. Anything you guys want to talk about, any questions, any work stuff, I'll try to answer. If I don't have an answer, I can get you guys answers.
So our agenda for our meeting Wednesday is we're gonna table Jepson. And what about, vendors? We're gonna
Who's?
Chevron,
Andrew Webb,
yeah. Guess that's.
Is it Bragg X? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the ones that's buying into Jessup.
It's the same owner, just 2 different LLCs. Little Creek Development LLC.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see.
They're both.
Yeah, they're both Jeff. Yep,
Different.
We're gonna
different
table
LLCs.
both of them.
yep, those are same owners of Jetson. Oh, light ordinances too. We've been working on the light ordinances. If you guys noticed, we did get Chevron. Chevron has made some adjustments to comply. It was kind of like
Good.
it's a big thing. She wants to comply, but they're also part of the franchise of Chevron that has to be certain things and they've been broken into. So, but I think we were in compliance. We've given their electrician, they've changed the lights on the end. Yeah, there's still a couple people that haven't responded to my courtesy letters and I'm still working, but for the most part, I drove around one morning, especially Gooseberry, it's pretty dark, so.
whoever
So
was out,
it's about Zion,
we're good.
Yeah, it's been pretty dark. So.
Whoever was out in Cedar Point that had their lights put right in the middle, but they're not there anymore.
That was Lincoln.
Oh.
Sending you that.
That's bright lights.
It
There were
wasn't
some
like
bright
fire.
lights.
There was a few people that were pretty,
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
on the little,
But, yeah, there was, well, yeah, the flashing light on the tiny homes, I
Yeah.
called them about that, but.
Well, I know there was a
oh,
pic-
resident that was there that had
yeah,
some big floodlights in their front yard that just shone, I could see them all the way.
yeah, he was a short-term rental, Levi, I talked to him, he got him fixed, wasn't aware, they weren't supposed to be on. There was another short-term rental there that had a pickleball court that were coming on. I think when the people were going out at night late to play pickleball, they're flicking these lights on, and I guess people were saying these are horrible. I told him, I said, the only way to rectify that is just unwire them, because you're not gonna be able to control them. You can tell people not to turn them on, but so he unwired them, so they're no longer wired in, so. Everybody's been I haven't really had anybody that's been fighting me. A few people are concerned about, they're like, well, that's my security and this and that. I said, let's work, let's get you some dimmer lights,
well,
so.
if you look at Cedar Point, everybody's dogs should be your security.
Yeah.
You probably hear them all the time. huh?
Yeah, I've heard that.
I mean, they don't bother me.
You're a
but-
deep sleeper.
I finally got bark collars for my,
Mine don't bark at night, when you pull in the driveway.
one bark, the coyotes, I'm right there on the edge.
I got 27 dogs all around.
Dogs, chickens, it don't matter. You don't notice it.
No,
That's why you live there, right?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So if you guys have anything else, just roundtable, just anything town going on that you were curious about, that,
Well, you might have to send like in a light ordinance at Christmas, because his whole goal in life is to be like a national lampoon's Christmas.
Well, there's.
there's actually, there's exceptions for holiday lights.
One day I'm afraid he'll hit that, so I'll let you know when you can send it.
Okay. I already have it ready to go, so.
Well, Marty, I'll bring up Marty, he was even one that, I wrote him a courtesy letter about his lights, he called me and I verified they were all within ordinance. But I still had someone that was like saying, oh, they're so bright, they're within ordinance. He actually was very cooperative and changed them anyways, even though we're within ordinance, he still brought them dimmer. So everybody's been very
He's
good
the
about
one
it.
that wanted this to be a dark sky.
Oh, did he? Well,
Yeah.
he did. I told him, I said, Marty, you don't have to do anything. You're in compliance. It's there. He said, no, it's fine if somebody, this button, somebody, so he went down and replaced all of his exterior lighting with even half, he went half in looms of what he had, so.
Yeah.
People have been very
The house
responsive
next
to it.
door needs to do the same.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Because they got up and down lights and they should all be facing down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so I got a few more houses I'm still working with, but for the most part, I think everybody's been good. Anything else?
Working dogs at midnight.
There's an ordinance.
Hey, I got a crazy
Filed-
neighbor.
Well, yeah, I've had a couple of them that I've had to deal with. It's not the fun part of the job, but,
I know, but, well, the
I hate
sheriff
it.
keeps trying to serve her papers and,
oh, really?
oh, yeah, and, she doesn't answer the door. He goes up on the porch. You can't walk on her porch because it's all full of junk. You know, that's my mom and dad's house. It just ticks me off.
Yeah, we've had a few houses that I've spoke to and they're slowly, one of them I had to write up because there was a nuisance complaint. A couple others I spoke to, they're cleaning up. I haven't went to, there's two others I have to go to that I haven't done yet, but I'm not trying to get, we're always gonna have our Apple Valley junk and our tractors and all that, that's fine. But some of these are health hazards and fire hazards. So we're
Or your
trying
10
to-
boats in your
Yeah,
yard.
we're gonna try to work, we've had a lot of people willing to volunteer and if we can get a roll off in over there, I'm gonna help them, so.
When we, next time you have city dumpsters, can you consider one at Cedar Point? There have always been here, but half the town lives over there.
Hey, what if I can split it up?
We could do that, huh?
Yeah, we'd have to put one
You
here.
can have them dropped out there.
Yeah.
Great, I will take.
The only issue would be we can't tack them down, but, because we don't have a tractor, I can take mine over there.
Yeah, I can take mine over.
I got a mini X.
You got a mini X, there you
I'll
go.
put my mini X in back of the dump.
I got another justification for a mini X, we could go over there, yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that's-
We're gonna call them out there.
Yeah, we give it a try and see, and as long as they're getting filled up.
Yeah, if they're not getting used.
Yeah, we'll at least give it a try and see what happens, yeah.
Everybody drives
That's a great idea.
all these runs every year.
Yeah, that's true.
Neither one was full.
I came over here on Saturday.
No,
so
they weren't full
excited,
this time, yeah.
Nothing in there.
Yeah.
Might want me to order a third one. Well, I don't.
I had a few residents telling me, oh, it's so full, and it's full, and so I was like, well, maybe throw another.
I didn't know they were there.
And normally, even when they're full, I usually come down and check them on a Saturday and Sunday, smash them down again, and then, half the containers available again, so.
Right.
Somebody probably just catches the tail end on Sunday night or something, but they can't leave Yeah. Over, so I still have to back them down.
The next time they're here is October 5th and 6th, just so if you guys want to write that down.
I do.
We'll do one at the Cedar Point.
Or 50 years.
You can just put it right there in that turnout
Yeah.
where my property is,
Yeah,
right
we're
there. Yeah.
about-
Yeah, there's a spot for it.
Yep, put it right there. We'll give it a whirl. See what
We'll
happens.
see what happens if they,
Yeah, I like that.
okay,
Thank you, Lee. That was a good idea.
really
Is
good.
that trailer there?
It's gone.
It's gone now. It was a resident at Cedar Point. I guess they were trying to tow it and the tongue broke, cracked. So they asked,
Oh,
they,
yeah,
they
it was.
Yeah, they talked to Chief. Chief asked me, he said, that's your property right there technically, and I said, it's fine. He said, they're just gonna leave it there for a few days till their son gets back in town, so he can weld it and they can drag it back into Cedar Point. I said, that's fine. So they got it welded and took it home back to Cedar Point. If it wasn't a resident, I'd have been a little more like, but it was a resident, so I was like, yes, that's fine, of course.
AgX ends in 5 days.
You what?
AgX ends in 5 days, then.
Yes.
I mean,
Okay.
geez, they've already fixed in your water, now you want a
How-
dumpster too?
How many acres?
We're coming back to my house.
Yeah.
What's the maniac?
Right, yeah, I like it.
So, again, how many, include what's on the agenda,
Yeah,
because it's gonna be, more than likely, it's gonna be approved. How many acres do you have?
4,000.
4,000 acres from OST and RE1
Plus what we already did?
to, no, that's the total. In
In
total.
We've had 4,000.
4,000 acres converted to ag.
3,987 acres.
And in those, I think there was 2 that I know of. I know one of our non-residents was complaining about, oh, we're losing the town money. There was 2 of those that I think, in my opinion, probably got a freebie and just got it changed because it was free and then they were able to put a house on it. So I think 2 people, which isn't a huge cost, but all these other people that changed it would never have changed it if they weren't
Correct.
getting
A
it
lot
for
of them
free.
were-
Absolutely.
If-
Very,
Just so I know, if people still call, are we still accepting applications after,
up till September 1st.
until September 1st? Okay.
For the waiver.
And then if we,
Yeah, if we choose to extend it or whatever, we can talk about that later, but as of now, it's up till September 1st.
I think that was good. I think that we've got everybody. There's a couple people I wanted to get in on it, but they were, didn't want to do it, so.
September 1st. Thank you.
Yep, anything else, guys? Guys and gals, I'm sorry. Okay, on to, motion that we.
What-
Go ahead, go ahead, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Bradley.
What's going on with the cemetery and the,
We mowed it.
community garden?
Well, more than you want. We mowed all the weeds down.
So let's go to community garden, that's a good one. The community garden is, what I want to do now is definitely, but the interest was there, which I had a feeling it would be. So I want to schedule a meeting, an informal, like we do a coffee with the mayor, I'll come up with a time, we'll get it here with good for Richard, because Richard's very involved in this. I want to keep Janet involved, and, that we're going to donate an area of this land, dedicate to that, there's plenty of room with the cemetery. He still bugs me about the cemetery, it's probably mainly on me, I think he just gave me some budgetary
I got you all
numbers.
the prices.
Yeah, so we need a little bit of money.
Somebody to bury, or someplace to bury you.
I know.
Well, you know who really wants to be buried here? It's Harold.
Harold wants to be buried here.
Harold wants to be buried, Harold Merritt.
Yep.
So
I met with the surveyors, got all the prices.
that's who it's for right now.
Yeah, we're there.
Pull the trigger to make.
It basically, if I remember, there's just a small amount of money that the town will front. And I think eventually it'll get paid back. It'll be self-sufficient, but it is a little frontage, costs a lot. It was less than 10,000 from the
I
wrong.
think we'll be at about 7,000.
7,000,
Plus or
so
minus.
it's just me getting off my butt, bringing it to town council, getting everybody to say, yeah, we like it and let's do it. And then, we'll get it going. And then once we start selling plots, they will pay that money back and the town will have nothing to lose. So, but there's still plenty of room out there for that and the garden. And, but yeah, I'm gonna set up a meeting and get everybody to and start brainstorming. Cause I don't know how the garden thing's gonna work. There's so many different ways we can take the garden thing that I just wanna get everybody in a room and start, let's just figure it out. Richard, all you guys were involved. And I
We
mean,
did it in Hurricane, and it was.
Yes, I'm sure.
Richard had a lot of great ideas, you know, people that are involved, get the food, if there's any extra, we brought up putting a stand out here on the, over by the mailbox on that empty spot or something where people, or whatever, where we sell it, maybe it's just on Facebook, you can sell some of the extra, that helps fund it, so it doesn't cost anything.
Families here that need it.
Feed,
Yeah.
I'm perfectly good with that, feeding people in need, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, Richard's offering all his expertise, he butchers, he does everything. Guy's super knowledgeable, and he's super knowledgeable, you're super knowledgeable, so yeah, there was a great response, so yeah, I definitely wanna pursue it, so I'm gonna set up a meeting, I'll check with you guys too. I'll send a group text and make sure you guys are all available, and we'll just do a meeting like this with informal, no cameras, and people, all residents, whoever wants to be involved. let's get some ideas, let's come up with, okay, this is what a good plan, and let's start. I think that's the best place to start.
Sounds good. Bring the town
We
together.
all will bring our own unique abilities to this.
Yeah.
And this is where I see the future of this, bringing this town together.
We got to.
We all gotta eat.
Yeah,
We all eat.
yeah.
So we get involved with this, what does that create? Community. What is community? We communicate with
What?
each other.
Did you just
We
say
become
nothing?
more friendly with each other. Rich.
Yeah.
And where we at from there? Nothing but up.
The division's gotta stop.
Yeah.
If Walter ever says anything about water and pipeline, he's got his own well and own storage tank. And he goes, oh, thanks for bringing that up. 'Cause I don't know if, you know, if you guys have taken over his water. No, so he still has his own well,
Who?
Walter.
Oh.
So he has nothing to say about water in this town. Cause he's got his own.
It's just sometimes no matter, it's just gonna be a certain way no matter what. It is what it is.
There's certain people you just can't make happy.
Yeah.
Well-
There's gonna be some people come after me no matter what I do. It's funny because that's kind of part of my speech tonight, that people like when they say that stuff, like I have some, like, why are you so angry at me, dude? Do you think I have an agenda? I don't make no money from this town. In fact, I was adding up the other day what it cost me to be mayor. Oh, gosh. So what it's costing me on fire, I don't make no money. So then the comment was made, oh, my friends over in Cedar Point, my friends. I'm like, I have a lot of friends everywhere. Some of my better friends are actually over, I would probably say I have more friends over here in Apple Valley proper that I'm closer with than I do in Cedar Point. And it's just, you sometimes, no matter what you do, just do the, at the end of the day, I just do the right thing and yeah, let them talk. He used to bug me, don't bug me no more. I just ignore it. Okay, let's put motion in and close this out.
I'll make a motion with
You wanna
yours.
take that, please?
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate you guys.
Who seconded that? You did that?
Thanks for getting that, Richard.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, thank you.